Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is your brother Yael Ezra Ben Levy coming at you again with another quick video. I'm not going to be before you long. You know how I do. I'm going to get straight to the point. First of all, let me give all the honor and praise to the Holy One of Israel, the God of our fathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. I want to bring your attention to the book of Leviticus, the book of Vayikra. Mainly, I want your focus to go to chapter 4 through chapter 5, 4 and 5. And there's one thing I want you to open yourself up to, because it is actually plain as day. But many people, for some reason, act like they cannot see it. Now, many people subscribe to their salvation being granted by another. Somebody else is their salvation. I'm not going to mention his name. You all know who I am talking about. But many of our people give him the honor and the praise, and they exalt his name, and they declare that he is mentioned all throughout the Holy Scriptures, that he is mentioned even in the Torah. We could find him, we could see him. But this is my argument. How can we say he is written about in the Torah when the Torah makes no mention of him? The Torah don't even paint a picture of him where you can have the mindset that our ancestors were looking towards a Messiah that will die for their sins, and they could look within the Torah, within the 5 books of Moses, and see him. The only reason I bring your attention to the book of Leviticus, the book of Vayikra, is because this is where we see the duties of the priesthood, the acceptable things that can be offered to Yahweh, that Yahweh let Moshe know which is acceptable to him. So when you take the time to read the book of Leviticus, the book of Vayikra, the chapters that I gave you to read, and really throughout the whole book, you will see no mention, no notion, no hinting to the concept of a righteous person can die in your place. Nowhere do we see on the list of what is acceptable to Yahweh do you see a righteous person on that list. You see turtle doves, you see fine flour, you see bulls, you see sheep, you see goats. But nowhere on that list of acceptable things that you could offer up to Yahweh do you see a righteous man, a righteous person. There's no mention of a Mashiach that can offer himself for Israel, where his blood will atone for Israel. Now, I know there may be oral traditions, and they use within the 4 elements of interpretation, and they might use a Ramez, or they might use the Sod level of interpretation, and they will say this is referring to the Mashiach. But nowhere in the Peshat level, in the literal level, in the plain level of the text, do you see a concept of a righteous man dying for the sins of Israel. Nowhere within the text do you see Yahweh say, Moses, let the children of Israel know If they want to have atonement, they need to find me one, a bull, a goat, a sheep, a turtle dove, fine flowers, a shekel, incense, and last but not least, bring me a righteous person, and their blood I will take upon the altar for the sins of Israel. Nowhere in the Hebrew scriptures do you see Yahweh calling for human sacrifice. And I know many people say, well, what about Father Abraham? Yahweh tested Abraham to see where his commitment, to see where his love was. But you see that Yahweh stopped him. Yahweh did not allow him to harm the child, his son. Now, if Yahweh really wanted a human sacrifice, why could he not have told Abraham, no, I would not allow you to give your son. I was only testing you. But you could offer up one of your servants. He did bring at least two of his servants with him. Why was it one of his servants or another man caught in the thickets? Why was it an animal? If Yahweh really wanted human sacrifice and it was something acceptable to him, why didn't he just have a man trapped in the thickets? Why didn't he tell Abraham to give me one of your servants? Because I really need some human blood. Nowhere in the Hebrew scriptures do you see such language. That is why many of our people have to use their sanctified imagination, their deep core belief, and insert it into the text to make it somehow be types and shadows referring to a Mashiach. But nowhere within the plain text is such a thing stated. So my brothers and my sisters, I encourage you, if we're going to keep continuing the idea that the Mashiach is written all throughout the scriptures and his mission is laid out all throughout the scriptures, where is it plainly stated? Why do we have to do scriptural gymnastic and yoga poses and twist and bend to make the text fit our belief? Why isn't what the text state enough for us? So my brothers and my sisters, before I close, I encourage you, again, take the time to read the book of Leviticus, chapter 4-5, and see where it says, if a person sin, what they are to do, what they are to bring. Nowhere do the Holy One of Israel tell the people to put their faith in a human sacrifice. Nowhere. So on that note, I close. Till next time, shalom.